greatest conversations me and Rob could have ever had before we got married was the conversation about finances. And I know finances is such an uncomfortable conversation to have in the beginning, especially if you are the person in the relationship who is horrible with money. But having the conversation of finances helped our marriage in many ways. People probably don't think that it could. I remember a few months after we had gotten engaged, we went to Bank of America to open up a savings account to start getting ready for our move to Philadelphia. And it wasn't until a few weeks later where he's like, girl, how much debt do you have? I remember saying, I have this much in student loan debt. I didn't have a car note. I was telling him, but when I do get any kind of cash flow, like I literally run to any closest clothing store or hair store that I can. It was my money habits that were just horrible. And I was so embarrassed to confess that to him. And it was then, I think it ignited some sort of spark in him on wanting to have a certain way we do our finances. We were building our marriage on biblical principles. We believed in oneness. And so combining our finances together, what is mine is yours. What is yours is mine. And I kid you not, the conversations about money became less and less hard, and so did every other conversation. Because of how uncomfortable and how hard of a conversation finances was for me at the time, it forced me to be vulnerable. It forced me to be very honest that early on in our relationship. Pretty much set the tone for the rest of our relationship. 4.5 years in, we can talk about literally anything. Like nothing is off limits. And of course, as the years progressed, every conversation and every question that was asked only became easier to answer. But if I could give one piece of unsolicited advice, I would say have those hard conversations right now in the beginning of marriage. Whatever you may think is hard for you, it may not be hard for your partner. It wasn't hard for Robert to deal with finances. If it's hard for the both of you, that's even more of a reason to have that conversation. So yeah, I hope that helps somebody.